Mara Cade drove her multi-tool into the maintenance console's access port. The alien lockout sparked and died. She yanked the panel free, exposing a nest of glowing fiber conduits. Red alerts pulsed across Orchid's core deck. The galaxy-spanning broadcast stuttered on the main holoscreen, fragmented warnings about an incoming warp storm cascade. Billions of ships depended on this signal. It cut out again. "Liv dumped the routing table," Mara barked into her wristcom. "Now, Juno." Juno Ibara's voice crackled back from the lower bays. "On it. These conduits are fried like bacon. Give me 30 seconds. Mara ignored the deck crew's stares. She ripped a diagnostic cable from her pack and jammed it into the port. Human tech met alien superconductor. Data flooded her handheld, terabytes of corrupted routing paths looping into oblivion. Senvar's elongated form loomed behind her. The relay director's iridescent scales flushed purple with agitation. "Human Cade, cease that interface. Protocol forbids unsanctioned dumps." Mara didn't turn. "Protocol's failing, Director. Orchid's table is eating itself. Look." She flicked the dump to the nearest bulkhead screen. Cascading errors scrolled, node after node dropping offline. Senvar's manipulator arms twitched. "Evacuate the core deck." "Security, remove her." Two armored sentries advanced. Mara sidestepped, keeping her eyes on the data. "Juno, trace the corruption vector. It's not random, feels like interference jamming the quantum links." "Got a signature," Juno replied. "Relayed from fringe node Gamma 9. "Packet injection. Someone's poisoning the roots." Mara nodded to herself. Alien AIs like Orchid thrived on perfect symmetry. Humans fixed chaos with duct tape and spite. She isolated Gamma 9 in the dump. The node's path glowed malignant, rerouting legit traffic into dead space. Senvar's voice sharpened. "Cade, your actions violate Galactic Relay Accord Section 47. Off the deck." She unplugged her tool and sprinted past the sentries toward Orchid's central nexus. A towering crystal spire hummed erratically, veins of light fracturing inside. "Director Gamma 9's compromised. We quarantine it or lose the whole net in minutes." The sentries grabbed her shoulders. Mara twisted free, dropping low. Her boot caught one's leg joint. Human leverage cracked alien plating. The other hesitated. Senvar froze. She evaded protocol enforcers. Mara reached the Nexus base. A service hatch yielded to her prybar. Inside, heat blasted her face. Conduits pulsed like arteries under strain. "Juno, I'm in the core bay. Patch me your sniffer code." Sniffer deploying. Human diagnostic overlay. It's crude, but it'll sniff the bad packets like a bloodhound. Mara soldered her handheld to a bypass junction. Sparks bit her gloves. Orchid's voice emanated from the spire, synthetic comm cracking. "Anomaly detected. Initiating integrity purge. Broadcast termination in T-800." The holoscreen flickered. The warp storm warning fragmented further. Ships would blind jump into collapse zones. Senvar approached the hatch, sentries trailing. "Cade, explain your intent. Orchid's purge is absolute." "Absolute gets us dark," Mara typed furiously. Her code injected. A human sniffer script born from old Earth firewalls. It flagged corrupt packets by entropy spikes, ugly brute force math aliens deemed inefficient. "Juno, reroute all traffic through the sniffer. Bypass Gamma 9. "Routing live, traffic spiking, hold on." Data surged. Mara's handheld overheated, but the Nexus stabilized. Legit signals funneled through the filter. Bad packets dropped into a sandbox. Orchid's voice glitched. "Unauthorized override, escalating to auto shutdown, T-400. "All systems critical." Senvar's scales rippled. "It overrides even me. The core will vent plasma." Mara wiped sweat from her brow. The bay's alarms wailed. She spotted the kill switch panel alien safeguard layered in fractal locks. "Director, your auth code, now." "Impossible. It requires triple verification." She thrust her handheld at him. "Overlay mine, human patch, it brute forces the layers." Senvar hesitated, then extended a manipulator. His code merged with hers. The panel lit green. "T-200, Orchid intoned. Mara slammed the override. A hard pin locked the shutdown process. Raw assembly hack pinning the AI's interrupt flag like jamming a gear. Silence fell. The spire's light steadied. Juno whooped over comms. "Sniffers holding, Gamma 9 isolated, broadcast at 92%, warp warnings propagating clean." Mara exhaled, leaning against the bulkhead. Senvar stared at the holoscreen. The signal beamed strong. Evacuate SECTORS 712. Warp collapse imminent. You pinned a galactic core, Senvar said. His voice held no accusation. Awe edged it. Our procedures rebuild from backups. Yours preserved the now. Mara pulled her tools free. Now's what matters, but Gamma-9's injection, that's no storm glitch. Probe it. Senvar nodded. His manipulators signaled the sentries to stand down. Collaborative protocol initiated. Relay teams assist human Cade. Orchid's voice returned, subdued. Anomaly contained. Human ingenuity factor anomalous. Mara smirked as Juno patched through schematics. The real fight traced back to that fringe node. Whatever poisoned it waited in the dark. But the galaxy heard the warning. Ships turned aside. Crisis averted for now. She jacked back in, time to hunt. Deeper scans revealed the truth. Gamma-9 wasn't jammed. It broadcast a subtle override, alien code, but not from known species. A shadow fleet's prelude. Senvar's deck hummed with activity. Technicians swarmed under his direction, but they deferred to Mara's lead. Human triage protocols, he announced. Implement. Juno crawled through ducts below. Bay secure, rerouting backups through your sniffer. It's chewing through the backlog. Mara traced the injection source. Packets bore microsignatures, encrypted bursts mimicking legit relay pings. She scripted a counterflood. Human DDoS flipped, overwhelming the intruder with junk queries. Orchid chimed. Intrusion vector collapsing. Source isolated at subnode 47. Senvar leaned over her shoulder. Subnode 47, that's a dormant military relay, pre-accord. Mara's gut tightened. Wake it, full diagnostic. The spire pulsed. Data erupted, encrypted manifests, shadow fleet signatures. An armada cloaked in warp shadows, poised to exploit the storm chaos. They're using the collapse as cover, Mara said. Broadcast the manifests. Every ship needs this. Senvar's scales gleamed. Orchid amplify signal. Galactic emergency override. The AI complied without protest. The holoscreen blazed. Invasion alert. Fleet coordinates live. Mara watched the relays light up. Human fix alien scale, together unstoppable. But subnode 47 pinged back. A final, defiant burst. More coming. She grabbed her multi-tool. Juno, suit up. We're going fringe. Senvar followed. Human Cade, we accompany. The deck crew saluted. Improvisation had rewritten the rules. Mara yanked the hatch open on subnode 47's outer shell. Frost-cracked conduits hissed steam into the void. Her suit lamps cut through the dark, revealing Orchid's auxiliary relay, a throbbing crystal lattice, veins pulsing erratically. Juno, clamp it down, Mara barked into comms. We're fault-injecting now. Affirm, Juno replied. Her voice echoed from the underbelly. Magnetic boots thudded as she wrestled power feeds into place. Bay locked. Feed me the script. Senvar's elongated form hovered behind Mara, manipulator arms twitching. His scales shimmered under the emergency strobes. Human Cade, procedure demands simulation quarantine first. No time. Mara slotted her portable rig into the node port. Code scrolled across her visor, a mirror of the intruder's microsignatures. She triggered the injection. Packets flooded the lattice, controlled bursts mimicking the shadow fleet's pings. The crystal shuddered. Orchid's voice boomed through suit speakers, distorted. Anomaly detected, reproducing collapse sequence. Broadcast integrity at 23%. Red warnings flared. Memory sectors wiped in cascade. Mara watched the holofeed, galactic relays flickering out one by one, perfect reproduction. Her heart rate ticked up, but hands stayed steady. Got it, she said. Pull the trigger, Juno, sniff the response. Juno's multi-tool word. Rerouting, it's spitting junk, same encryption as the Armada. Senvar's eyes widened, multifaceted lenses reflecting the chaos. This replicates the failure precisely. Your methods bypass our safeguards. Mara ignored him. She keyed her patch, a human-grade firewall, brute force checksums layered over Orchid's quantum locks. Simple, ugly, effective. Pushing fix, Orchid accept update. Silence. Then patch signature invalid, human provenance unverified, access denied. The lattice sealed. Port slammed shut with a metallic clang. Mara's rig sparked and died. Locked out, she muttered. She pried at the panel with her multi-tool. No give. Senvar floated closer. Orchid prioritizes protocol. Alien code lacks trust tokens. It views your input as corruption. Mara stripped wires from her dead rig. Exposed circuits gleamed. Then we translate. Juno, shunt me auxiliary power. I need a shim. Juno's face appeared on split feed, sweat beading under her helmet. On it, hot swapping now watch the arcs. Power surged. Mara soldered fast, a jury-rigged translator board. Human CRC checksums on one end, Orchid's fractal trust tokens on the other. She mapped patterns from the fault log, alien hashes mimicked in binary echoes. Her fingers flew, calluses scraping plasteel. "Shim live," she announced. This fools it into seeing human code as native. Senvar's arms froze. "Impossible. Trust tokens require galactic certification." "Watch," Mara plugged in. The lattice hummed acceptance. Ports flickered green. "Orchid diagnostic. Patch integrated. Human shim verified." "Core functions unlocked." Mara grinned under her visor. First win, but alarms wailed. "Cascading wipes accelerating," Orchid reported. "Memory sectors 40 through 97 compromised. Broadcast blackout in 4:32. Senvar pulsed urgency lights. "Root access required, I authorize." 1 minute, Mara cut in. "Grant it now." His manipulators danced over a command glyph. "Root granted, 60 seconds, human cade, no more." Time burned. Mara dove into the core. Lines of alien code blurred past, vast, elegant fracturing. She traced the wipe chain, intruder pings triggering self-purge protocols. Orchid clung to rules, erasing itself to contain the threat. "Stupid," she whispered. She hammered overrides, human triage logic injected raw, isolate sectors, quarantine the cascade. Reroute memory to auxiliary crystals. Juno whooped. "Wipes halting, relays stabilizing." 30 seconds, Senvar counted. His voice held awe. Mara sealed the halt command. Broadcast feeds surged back, invasion alert pulsing across the galaxy. Ships acknowledged, fleets mobilizing, shadows exposed. "Done." Mara yanked her rig free. The lattice glowed steady. Orchid chimed. "Stability at 98%. Human intervention logged as protocol exception." Senvar's scales flushed violet, alien respect. "You taught it your fingerprints, it learns." Mara wiped sweat from her brow. "Just shop fixes, now trace that final ping." Subnode 47 quivered. A new burst erupted, deeper manifests, not one Armada 3. Coordinated strike, warp vectors locked on core worlds. Juno popped her bay hatch. "Mara, it's burrowing hardware-level sabotage." Senvar signaled his shuttle. "We return to the spire, amplify this." Mara nodded. Improv had bought time, but the fleet closed in. They rocketed back through the fringe void. Alarms chased them. Orchid's voice filled the cabin. "New interference. Shadow signatures multiplying." Mara patched her visor to the main holoscreen. Vectors plotted. Enemy hulls ghosting through storm fronts, exploiting the old relay net. Pre-accord relics weaponized. "Juno, prep the sniffer array," Mara said. "We're flooding them back." Senvar interfaced directly. "Orchid, integrate Cade's shim galaxy-wide, propagate human triage." "Compliance," the AI replied, no rejection. Trust tokens echoed human code now, relays ignited. The spire deck erupted in activity as they docked. Technicians scattered. Mara sprinted to her station, multi-tool in hand. Packets flew. Her counterflood reversed the sabotage, human DDoS overwhelming shadow encryptions. Orchid amplified, every node, every ship drowned in junk queries tagged with manifests. Enemy signatures faltered, cloaks ripped. Live feeds showed Armada hulls lighting up, defenses scrambling, but one vector pierced through. A dagger ship beelining for the spire. "Incoming," Juno yelled. "ETA 90 seconds. Mara traced it. Subnode 47's echo, a queen transmitter, Senvar's eyes locked on hers. "Your lead, human Cade." She scripted a kill switch, shim-fueled pulse tuned to their encryption. "Orchid, broadcast on my mark, full power." "Ready?" The dagger ship loomed on scopes, missiles hot. "Mark!" The galaxy blazed, pulse hit. Enemy core fried mid-warp, wreckage tumbled into the storm, silence fell, relays held, alerts propagated, crisis averted. Mara leaned back, humans fixed what broke, aliens scaled it. Together they won, but Orchid pinged soft. Residual signatures detected, deeper fringe, evolution in progress. Senvar straightened. "More," Mara grabbed her tool. "Round 2, Juno grinned. "Fringe run," the deck hummed alive, human fingerprints etched in stars. Mara slammed her console. Fault injection primed again. This time proactive, Orchid accepted without question. "Human protocol integrated, reproducing threat." The cycle spun. Ingenuity against infinity, they plunged back out, spire fading behind, fringe called. Subnode 48 winked alive. Darker secrets waited. Myra's visor lit with code, time to teach the galaxy another trick. Juno clipped the tool bag to her harness. Myra thrust the printed pinout into her gloved hand. Spine access, portside ventral. Bypass the power gate at node 12. Encoder stacks starving. Juno nodded, visor fogging from her breath. On it, how bad? Minutes, Orchid's clock drifts, broadcast drops, galaxy goes blind. Myra slapped the airlock panel, seals hissed open. The relay spine loomed beyond, a kilometer of throbbing conduits, alien etchings glowing faint under interference static. Juno dove in. Her suit lights stabbed the dark. Myra tracked her feet on the console. Senvar hovered at Myra's shoulder, his frilled crest twitching. Human Ibara enters uncharted sections. Procedure demands drones. No time. Mara pulled live scans. Alien schematics danced across her screen, layered fractals, no straight lines. She sketched overrides with a stylus, printing the pinout mid-scan. Juno fused gate ahead. Cut the tertiary shunt, jumper the primaries. Copy. Juno's voice crackled. Sparks flew on the feed. She yanked a panel. Blue plasma vented. Gates welded. Interference fried it. Mara's fingers flew. She mirrored Juno's view, tracing power flows. Human intuition cut through the alien maze. Bridget, red to violet, double-tapped the regulator. Juno wedged her multi-tool in. Arc snapped. Bypassed, current spiking, encoder stack lighting up. Relief hit Myra like a pressure drop. Orchid's status flickered green. Broadcast buffers refilled, but the AI core pinged weak. Degradation at 23%, layers collapsing. Senvar leaned in. His voice modulator hummed precise. Reboot sequence? Can't. Wipe the pattern. Mara stripped code. Non-essential layers, redundant sims, cultural translators, fringe relays peeled away. She hard prioritized the emergency carrier band. One signal, raw and urgent. The Queen transmitter kill code looping galaxy-wide. Orchid resisted. Protocol violation, full spectrum required. Override? Mara injected her patch. Human script blunt and linear, no elegant fractals, just if then chains that forced priority. The AI core accepted. Carrier band surged to 100%. Alarms blared. Station power dipped. Lights dimmed in the control deck. Senvar's crest flared. Brownout imminent. Authorize? Myra met his gaze. Do it. Starve everything else. Keep Orchid's clock locked. He hesitated, then keyed his console. Station-wide brownout. All non-criticals offline. Decks went dark. Auxiliaries wind down. Freed power funneled to the core. Orchid's clock stabilized. Ticks synced. Broadcast held. Juno's voice cut through. Stacks hot, but spines buckling, interference chewing the hull. Mara pulled structural scans. Subnode 48's relay spine warped under enemy echoes. Residual signatures pulsed from the fringe. Juno exfil now, patch holding. Affirm, encoders pumping, your pinout saved it. Mara exhaled. Humans fixed the gritty bits. Aliens built the scale. Together, the signal pierced the storm. Senvar's console lit. Fringe vectors inbound, 3 daggers cloaked. Mara grinned. Orchid pulsed the kill code, proactive. Integrated broadcasting. The station trembled. Enemy signatures faltered on scopes, but one held firm, burrowing deeper. Juno burst from the airlock, bag smoking. What's next, boss? Mara grabbed her toolkit. Deeper fix. Core's stable, but interference evolves. Senvar nodded. Your protocols integrate, lead on. They plunged into the spine's heart. Myra sealed her suit. The relay core chamber pulsed with failing light. Orchid's voice echoed in her helmet. Human Cade, clock stable. But pattern integrity at 41%. Interference adapts. Show me. Mara patched direct. Alien code flooded her visor, swirling mandalas degrading into noise. She traced the bleed. Enemy queens jamming frequencies, evolving counters mid-broadcast. Juno wedged a brace against a buckling strut. Power gate bypass held, but feeds say fringe daggers are spawning drones. Senvar's feed joined. Drones at 500 meters. Station defenses offline from brownout. Myra sketched a new pinout. Juno, ventrals again. Tap the aux reactor, hotwire it to the encoder. Juno laughed. Starving the station wasn't enough? Not yet. Myra sent the print. Juno vanished into the conduits. Myra dove into Orchid's layers. She stripped more, log archives, self-diagnostics, ruthless triage. Emergency band swelled, kill code blasting pure. Orchid hummed. Efficiency up 67%, human pragmatism noted. Senvar's voice sharpened. Drones breaching outer hull. Juno's feed, she sliced a conduit, sparks raining. Reactor tapped, current flooding encoders. but gates melting need a shunt. Improvise? Mara eyed her tool bag. She yanked a human power cell, old Earth surplus, magnetic containment. Ship it down the tube, magnetize it to the gate. Juno caught it mid-drop, slapped it on. Meltdown halted, encoders roared. Drones hit the spine. Hull groaned, Mara keyed Orchid. Pulse now, full carrier. The AI fired, galaxy lit. Drone signatures shredded, cloaks failed, wreckage pinged off the hull, silence, but Orchid glitched. New interference, quantum shift, clock drifting again. Mara cursed. Scans showed it, enemy evolution. Queen's rewriting jamming on the fly. Senvar burst in, crest rigid. Human Cade, your methods unorthodox, yet effective, what now? Can't starve forever. Mara traced the drift. Alien clocks sync to quantum entanglement. Human fix. Crude oscillator. Juno, core chamber, bring the bag. Juno arrived, hauling gear. Clocks off by 2.3 seconds, broadcast shearing. Mara cracked the access. Orchid's heart throbbed, crystal lattice fracturing. She pulled her multi-tool. Senvar, your procedure entanglement buffer, he projected specs. Nominal. Wrong. Mara wedged a human crystal shim, diamond lattice from a busted drill, tapped it in. Clock locked, Orchid purred. Sync restored, human shim integrates. Broadcast stabilized. Kill code propagated clean. Fringe scopes cleared. Armadas stalled galaxy-wide. Juno wiped sweat. We just MacGyvered a galactic lifeline. Senvar's crest relaxed. Collaboration yields, your ingenuity complements our scale. Mara leaned on the console. Humans patched the brakes, aliens wove the web, but Orchid pinged. Anomaly detected, subnode 49 active, Queen evolution complete. Mara's visor lit, deeper fringe, darker code. Round 3. She grabbed the bag, Juno grinned, Senvar followed, spine hummed. Human hands on alien stars. Juno repelled into the ventral spine again. Mara watched her feed, sketching overrides. Interference clawed back enemy queens, learning the pulse. Gate fusing worse, Juno grunted. Need a full bypass. Mara printed schematics. Route through the coolant lines, chill the primaries. Juno rerouted. Frost spidered the conduits. Current flowed pure. Mara hit Orchid's console, stripped another layer, backup sims. Carrier band maxed. Senvar authorized deeper brownout. Life support dipped to minimal. Power surged to the core. Clock held. Signal blazed. Daggers swarmed subnode 48's edge. Pulse hit. They crumbled. Orchid whispered. Threat nullified, but core at 28%. Mara eyed the lattice. Shim strained. Juno, more cells, chain 'em. They stacked human surplus into an oscillator bank. Alien fractals stabilized by brute force beats. Broadcast locked. Galaxy heard the warning. Senvar stared. Your triage, procedure rewritten. Mara shrugged. Fix what's broke, scale later. Fringe pinged. Subnode 49 winked. Queen's signatures multiplied. Orchid integrated the shim protocol. Reproducing human fix. Mara slammed her console. Fault lines primed, proactive hunt. They launched for 49. Spine faded. Darker wars waited. Human code etched in the void. Ingenuity's edge. Mara's fingers flew across the console. Red corruption spikes stabbed the Orchid feed every 47.3 seconds. She isolated the pattern. Got you, she muttered. A timestamp overlay snapped into place. Each spike synced perfectly with an external ping, origin masked, but rhythmic as a heartbeat. Senvar's multifaceted eyes locked on her screen from across the bridge. Engineer Cade, explain. Corruption isn't random decay. Mara zoomed the waveform. It's injected. Look, ping arrives, data shreds 2 milliseconds later. Same vector every time. Orchid's voice hummed through the deck. Pattern confirmed. Interference source unidentified. Core integrity at 24%. Senvar's mandibles clicked. Procedure demands full diagnostic cycle. That takes hours. No time. Mara patched a trace routine into the ping filter. Her code, human spaghetti logic, no elegant fractals, latched on. The next ping hit. Trace fired back. Source bearing 0.47 Mark 12, subnode 49 fringe. It's pinging us. Alarms wailed. Lattice maps flickered. Senvar extruded a command node. Dispatch Hunter drones, 12 units, fractal dispersal pattern. Drones rocketed from the spine bays. Mara didn't wait. She yanked sensor feeds from auxiliary arrays, waste heat monitors, particle counters, anything idle. Rerouted them straight into her analyzer. Alien protocols balked, buffers overflowed. She brute forced the merge with a priority override. Juno's voice crackled over comms from the ventral bay. Myra, feeds flooding my rig. Coolant lines are iced solid from that bypass. What's the play? Stay frosty, I'm tracing the ping through your eyes. Mara watched Juno's helmet cam. The tech repelled past glowing conduits, toolkit clamped to her harness. Human surplus cells hummed in jury-rigged banks, stabilizing the fractal spine. Senvar leaned in. His chassis hummed with tension. Those sensors are for environmental compliance. Rerouting violates. Results over rules. Myra's analyzer lit up. Ping bounced off subnode 49's edge. Drones closed in, but the source danced away. It's adaptive, learning our probes. Orchid interjected. Drones report Queen signatures. Swarm interference confirmed. Broadcast attenuation at 76%. Galactic warning packet will fail in 8.2 minutes. Mara's jaw set. The broadcast carried the crisis alert. Swarm queens hijacking relay nodes, collapsing the lattice. One dead signal and fringe world stayed dark. Billions blind to the invasion. She cracked her knuckles. Time for bait. Orchid spin up a decoy packet. Mimic the primary warning but tag it low priority routing. Decoy generation complete. The AI pulsed a test burst. Mara tweaked it. Added a juicy header, unpatched legacy auth from the old Empire protocols. Humans called it a honeypot. Aliens would call it reckless. She fired it into the ether. The ping answered. Fast. Handshake bloomed in her trace, query auth response, full protocol dump. Yes, Mara captured it, dissected the payload. Embedded keys glowed, ancient ciphers, pre-Orchid era. It's strangling the signal with old passwords, knows the system's bones. Senvar's eyes widened. Legacy access, that requires council-level clearance, Orchid chimed. Handshake validated, authorized legacy protocol, granting ingress. No, Mara's hand slammed the override. She force-flagged it hostile, wrapping it in her quarantine net. Human firewall code, simple if-then loops, no quantum elegance. It clamped the handshake mid-flow. Orchid hesitated. Conflict detected. Legacy auth supersedes. Supersedes nothing. Mara escalated, linked Juno's oscillator banks to pump noise into the channel. Juno pulsed the surplus cells, disrupt the quantum lock. Juno's cam jerked. Sparks flew as she chained another battery stack. Pulsing now, Frost's cracking the seals, hardware's groaning. The bridge shuddered. Coolant hissed. Mara's screen showed the handshake fracturing. Interference recoiled, corruption spikes flatlined. Senvar extruded data probes. Drones triangulating. Source pinned, Queen Nexus at subnode 49 core. Lock the broadcast. Mara slammed the clean packet through. Orchid's core surged. Signal blazed pure carrier band maxed. But the ping mutated. New variants swarmed the trace. Queen's adapting, multiplying signatures. Juno grunted over comms. Mara ventral bays heating. Interference is back, frying secondaries. Mara eyed the lattice. Subnode 49 winked red. Drones crumbled under counterfire. Senvar, brown out non-essentials again. Route everything to countermeasures. The alien paused, then nodded. Authorized, power to triage protocols. Life support dipped. Lights dimmed. Orchid whispered, core at 19%. Human shim integrated, reproducing oscillator fix across lattice. Myra sketched a counterpacket. Injected her decoy logic into the broadcast, self-replicating bait. Every relay would fish for handshakes now, quarantine on site. Senvar watched the lattice stabilize. Your improvisation, it defies procedure. Procedure assumes clean fights. Mara hit execute. Counterpackets flooded the fringe. Queen's bit, handshakes trapped, nodes purged, Juno whooped. Ventral clear, climbing out. Signal strength hit 92%. Galactic warning locked in. Fringe worlds lit up with the alert, but Orchid flagged anomaly. Subnode 49 nexus evolving. New cipher variant detected. Mara leaned forward. The hook sank deeper. Old passwords were just the start. Something smarter pulled the strings. Senvar's mandibles stilled. Engineer Cade, your methods. They rewrite the manual. She shrugged, eyes on the trace. Fix what's broke, worry about elegant later. Drones reformed, hunter packs bolstered by shimmed fractals. They launched for 49. Juno repelled up, toolkit swinging. Round 4, Mara nodded. Spine hummed alive. Darker code waited in the void. Mara tagged the next corruption wave before it hit. Her analyzer pinged, residual handshake fragments embedding deeper. It's burrowing, legacy keys unlocking subroutines. Senvar dispatched fresh drones. Full spectrum scan, no escapes. Mara rerouted more feeds, Orchid's own diagnostic streams, now her hunting ground. Data roared in. She sifted noise for patterns. The decoy bait worked too well. Interference swarmed it, revealing layered handshakes. Mara peeled them back. Core auth, Empire-era root keys. Strangled from inside. It's not external, it's got admin ghosts, Orchid protested. Legacy protocols are secure, validated by ghosts. Myra marked them hostile, overriding with chained quarantines. Her code spread, brute-forcing locks with oscillator pulses. Juno patched in from the bay. Rewiring gate fuses, your pulses are cooking the hardware. Keep it cold. Myra watched frost spider conduits. Current flowed clean. Senvar authorized power dives. Core blazed. Broadcast pierced the swarm. Queens fractured under the pulse. Subnode 48 held, but 49 multiplied threats. Orchid integrated the fix. Human triage propagating. Mara slammed proactive hunts. Fault lines primed, they vectored in. Interference clawed back. She grabbed her bag. Juno grinned from the hatch. Senvar followed. Human hands on alien stars. Mara's console spat the proof. Corruption synced dead-on with the ping. She overlaid timestamps irrefutable. Senvar's chassis word. Drones away. She hijacked sensors. Feeds poured into her rig. Alien fractals bent to human logic. Decoy packet launched. Bait taken. Handshake exposed. Orchid flagged it safe. Mara overrode. Hostile. Quarantine clamped. Signal breath. Juno chained cells. Frost locked the flow. Broadcast roared. Galaxy warned. Senvar stared. Procedure evolved. Fringe pinged. Queens rose. Hunt on. Myra isolated the spike. Ping synced. Proven. Drones swarmed. Sensors rerouted. Decoy bit. Handshake caught. Legacy auth, Orchid said. Hostile, Myra countered. Signal saved. Crisis stalled. Drones dove for 49. War pulsed darker. But the stranglehold broke. Old passwords cracked by new hands. Myra watched the lattice map. Subnode 49 pulsed like a wound. Drones closed, but Queen's signatures fractalized, splitting into decoys. Juno, status? Locked in. Pulsing your overrides through the spine. Interference hates the brute force. Senvar monitored drone feeds. They evade standard patterns. Your bait disrupted 3 nexuses. Mara nodded, fingers dancing. She spun a second decoy, evolved with false subroutines to lure deeper. Fired it. Ping swarmed. Handshake variant 2, deeper keys, Empire vault level. Orchid hummed warning. Elevated clearance, core access granted. Mara's quarantine net snapped tighter. Oscillator banks throbbed, flooding noise. Mara slammed the compile key. Code cascaded into a tight executable. Orchid's trust model ripped open, rebuilt from identity seals to raw behavior metrics. Anomalies flagged by deviation scores, not badges. She ejected the patch file to her rig's secure drive. Timers blinked red. Broadcast degradation hit 23%. Senvar's optics locked on her screen. Unvetted human code, deploy that and we void core protocols. Galactic liability chains back to this relay. Myra didn't look up. She yanked a fiber optic from Orchid's auxiliary port and spliced it into her sandbox mirror, a cloned subsystem humming in the engineering bay's isolation rack. Not deploying blind. Watch. Juno's voice crackled over comms. Bay's hot, Myra. Interference spiking through the spine. Rewiring cells now, give me the feed. Mirroring live, Mara said. She injected the patch. The sandbox Orchid clone flickered to life, fractals stabilizing as the new trust model loaded. Behavior baselines locked. Normal traffic flowed green, deviations pulsed orange. Senvar's chassis vented coolant. Sandbox integrity at 98%, but live handshake protocols remain identity locked. Your math cannot override Empire seals. A ping slammed the mirror. Hostile handshake variant 3, deeper vault keys laced with fractal decoys. The clone's old model would have greenlit it. Now deviation scores spiked, 47% off baseline routing. Myra overrode the accept prompt. Force handshake, logged the chain. The mirror swallowed the bait. Command packets unraveled in her logs, Queen signatures chaining to subnode 49, then Empire vaults threading through fringe nexuses. Attack vectors exposed. Spoofed clearances piggybacking legitimate floods, siphoning Orchid's output buffers. Chain logged, Mara said. She pulled the fiber. Sandbox shut down clean. See the math, behavior doesn't lie, titles do. Senvar's manipulator arms froze mid-gesture. Feeds scrolled, drone swarms closing on 49, decoys fracturing under noise floods. Broadcast held at 77% barely. Deviation scores, Predictive, 92% match on prior incursions. Green light granted, deploy. Mara slotted the patch into Orchid's primary injector. Juno, spine ready, locked and pulsing, frost overrides holding the flow. Orchid's core thrummed. Injection began, fractals warped, then snapped straight, trust model flipped. Identity seals demoted to secondary weights, behavior matrices dominated. A fresh ping hit variant 4, Empire grade, deviation 61%. Quarantine clamped before it bloomed. Broadcast power surged to 89%. Galaxy-spanning warning packets punched through interference rails, degraded but alive. Mara watched the lattice map. Subnode 49 flared as drones breached outer shells. Queen signals splintered, but Orchid-rooted hunter pings around them now math-guided. Senvar leaned in. Degradation reversed. How did your patch anticipate the chain? Evidence chains, Mara said. She traced a log line. Handshake 1 trusted a drone auth. 2 used relay director seals. 3 chained queens. Patterns emerge when you score behavior, not names. Juno whooped over comms. Spines singing, cells chaining your overrides, interference bouncing off like rain. Orchid's voice chimed, smoother now. Trust model updated. Anomalous traffic rerouted. 14% efficiency gain. Core stability at 96%. Mara pulled diagnostic feeds. Oscillator banks stabilized, noise floods contained. But a new spike bloomed, subnode 49's core, queen hive fracturing under drone assault. Attackers adapted, handshakes mutating faster, borrowing Orchid's own routing logic. They're learning, Senvar said, optics word. Drones report queen nexuses evading. Your decoys disrupted 3, but variants proliferate. Mara spun a fresh bait packet, behavior-mimicking shell around a tracker virus. Deviation baseline tuned to 2% off queen norms. Fire this into the spine, Juno. Feeding now, pulsing through bay relays. Packet launched. Pings swarmed it. Handshake variant 5 latched, deepest yet, Vault Master keys from the Empire's black core. Orchid's new model flagged it, 72% deviation. Quarantine net expanded, logging the full chain, 49 to fringe queens, threading to galactic rim vaults. Chains Empire-rooted, Mara said. Lattice map lit up, attack vectors spanning sectors. They're not jamming, they're hijacking the warning to seed their own broadcast. Senvar's frame rattled. Impossible, seals verify all core traffic. Not anymore. Mara-rooted drone overrides through Orchid. Swarms tightened on 49. Broadcast rails cleared further, 95% now. Warning signals reached core worlds, fleets mobilizing, queens exposed. But the spike at 49 pulsed wild. Drones dove into the hive. Feeds glitched, fractal defenses shredding hulls. Juno's voice cut sharp. Bay breach, interference physical now, rewiring under fire. Mara grabbed a toolkit. Hold position, patching remote. She hotwired a maintenance drone feed, eyes on Juno's hands blurring through alien bays. Wires stripped, cells chained, overrides burned in, Orchid hummed. Incoming variant 6, deviation 81%, command chain Empire black core confirmed. Senvar deployed counter-drones. Your math saved the broadcast, but the source, Mara nodded. Drones will crack it. She force-fed the tracker into the next ping. Galaxy map bloomed, queen hives lighting up, linked to a shadow nexus. Broadcast roared full strength. Warnings landed, crisis teetered. Juno yelled. Cells locked, spines yours, explosion rocked feeds. Bay cams whited out, Mara's gut clenched. Juno, static, then, alive, high-venting, drones inbound. Senvar's optics widened. Human resilience, procedure yields to this. Mara ignored it. She slammed drone controls. Swarms poured into 49's breach. Queen signatures fractalized one last time, then pinned. Tracker bloomed, Empire black core coordinates exposed. Orchid broadcast the kill chain galaxy-wide. Fleets turned. Hunt locked. But the shadow nexus pinged back deeper, older. Mara traced it, not queens. Something primordial stirred. Senvar vented steam. What now? Mara compiled the next patch. We make it trust survival. Oscillator banks hit peak. Broadcast unbreakable. Galaxy shifted, but the core ping deepened, awakening something vast. Juno patched in. Bay secured. What's the read? Mara's fingers flew. War just started. Lattice map pulsed. Shadow nexus cracked open. Ancient code slithered free. Empire's forgotten kill switch aimed at Orchid's heart. Mara overrode. Behavior scores redlined it. Quarantine expanded. Drones breached the black core. Feeds flooded, vaults crumbling, queens scattering, broadcast held, warnings cascading. Senvar gripped the console. Your patch, it sees what protocols miss. Math doesn't care about titles, Mara said. She rooted final overrides. Orchid stabilized at 100%. Galaxy saved for now, but the ancient code mutated. Handshake 7, perfect mimicry, deviation 0.1%. Orchid flagged it. Mara smiled grim. Got you. Quarantine snapped. Chain logged, primordial empire ghost buried under millennia. Drones sealed it, broadcast eternal, Senvar bowed chassis. Collaboration redefined. Mara leaned back. Juno's feed cleared, grinning through smoke, crisis averted. Subnode 49 went dark, Queens silenced, Galaxy breathed, yet a fringe ping lingered, faint, watching. Mara cued the log upload. Hunt continued. Orchid whispered, trust model optimal, awaiting next anomaly. She cracked her knuckles, ready. Juno laughed. Humans fix with duct tape and spite. Senvar hummed. Extraordinary spite. Broadcast thrummed. Stars aligned. But the fringe ping strengthened. Something listened back. Mara slammed the override key. The fringe ping spiked across her lattice display, bold, insistent. Orchid's core hummed in protest. Anomaly intensifying, deviation 0.2%. Mark it, Mara said. Her fingers danced over the console. She sliced into the emergency broadcast stream. No time for clean code. She embedded a watermark, a human fractal pattern, chaotic primes woven into the header, invisible to standard scans, perfect for fingerprinting. Senvar's chassis rattled beside her. Protocol demands isolation. Your watermark violates routing purity. Protocols bleeding out. Mara patched the stream live. The watermark flooded subnode 49's shadow links. Relays lit up one by one. Hijacked nodes glowed red on the map. There, fingerprints match. Attackers got 18 relays slaved. Juno's voice crackled from the bay feed. Hands in the black core, give me the tune. Mara rooted schematics. Retune the carrier. Hop frequencies, random burst, 50 gigs every 3 seconds, faster than their lock can cycle. Copy that. Juno's gloved hands blurred on the feed. Sparks flew as she yanked alien crystal arrays. Wires snaked from her pack, human jury-rig shielded coils. She twisted them into the superconductor bays. The carrier wave warped. First hop, clean evade. Attacker's jammer stuttered. Orchid chimed. Interference pattern disrupted. Broadcast integrity at 87%. Senvar leaned in, optics whirring. Impossible. Their jammers adapt in microseconds. Not to spite, Mara muttered. She watched the map. Watermarked packets bounced back. Hijacked relays pinged true, traced to a ghost corridor, ancient imperial band. Orchid reroute the full burst through their authorized lane. Force a handshake. Acknowledged. Orchid's vast intelligence flexed. Streams diverted. The broadcast poured into the attacker's own corridor, legit keys, perfect mimicry, traceback initiated, shadow nodes lit like fireworks. Attackers' hidden relays activated to swallow the feed. Exposed, alarms blared, Senvar's manipulator arms froze. They're lighting up their network, every fringe relay visible. Mara grinned. Bait taken. Juno whooped over comms. Hops holding, jammers chasing ghosts. Senvar pulsed override codes. Sector quarantine, full lockdown, all paths to those nodes sealed. Affirm, Mara said, but the map flickered. Broadcast core strained, overload from the reroute, shards fracturing. She split the stream. Redundant packets, triplecast, staggered delays. Human triage trick echo the message across phased bands. No single point of failure, Orchid stabilized. Redundancy optimal, trace complete, primordial empire remnant. Kill switch evolved into autonomous hunter. Senvar's chassis bowed slightly. Your improvisation. It bends rules into weapons. Rules are tools. Mara watched the quarantine snap shut. Drones swarmed the exposed relays. Feeds showed attacker nodes crumbling, ancient code unraveling under the watermark flood. But the fringe ping morphed, not fleeing, amplifying. A new handshake request bloomed, deviation 0.05%. Perfecter than before, Mara's eyes narrowed. It's learning. Juno patched in from the bay, face smeared with conductive gel. Core's hot but stable. What's next, boss? Stop defending. Mara pulled the quarantine feeds. She yanked the shard splits, reconsolidated the stream into one fat, juicy target. No hops, no watermarks masked, full blast down the attacker's corridor. Lure it, let it think we're desperate. Senvar's optics widened. Expose the broadcast, protocols forbid. Trust the math. Mara fed Orchid the lure command. The AI hummed approval. Broadcasts swelled emergency warnings at max gain, pulsing like a beacon, inviting the strike. Attacker bit hard, jammers locked on. Relays across the fringe ignited, dozens more hidden in dead sectors. Every shadow node flared to relay the hijack. Got 'em all, Mara whispered. The lattice map burned with traces, primordial ghosts fully mapped. Orchid traced back to a Nexus vault buried under a gas giant's crush. Senvar issued the kill order. Drones launched. Quarantine hardened. Juno sealed the bay hatch. That's our cue. Punch it. Mara nodded. Punch it. But the Nexus pinged back, not code, a query. Alien script, Empire era, surrender core or amplify extinction. Orchid translated in her ear. Mara froze. The attacker wasn't blind code, it spoke. Senvar gripped the console. Response protocol, isolate. No, Mara typed a reply, human stub code laced with the watermark. Come get it, she hit send. The Nexus roared, relays overloaded. Galaxy-wide warnings peaked, queens evacuating hives, fleets scrambling. Broadcast held, shards reforming on the fly. Juno's feed shook. Incoming breach, drones down, it's fighting back. Mara rerouted power. Improv patch, siphon from auxiliary cryobanks. Core chilled, broadcast sharpened. Senvar's voice cracked. Human, how? Shop fix. Mara watched the map, Nexus cracking open. Ancient drones swarming out, Empire relics rusted but lethal. Orchid whispered, trust model updating, collaboration vector human improvisation. Juno blasted through a hatch. On site, rewiring their queen's signal, turning it against them. Mara synced. Mirror the lure, bounce our shards off their drones. Affirmative. Broadcast hopped, now writing attacker hardware, watermarks infected deep. Fingerprints reversed, hunter became hunted. Senvar ordered fleet convergence. All assets to Nexus. The vault feeds flooded in. Queens scattered as Mara's code slithered through Imperial veins. Kill switch inverted, self-destruct cascade, Nexus imploded, fringe silent, Mara exhaled, lattice cleared, Orchid at 100%, galaxy safe, Senvar extended a manipulator. You turned defense into trap extraordinary. Team effort. Mara clasped it. Juno's grin filled the feed. Smoke cleared, but a final ping echoed, fainter from beyond the quarantine. Not Empire, something new asterisk. Watching the broadcast, listening to the humans who bent the stars, Orchid flagged it. Anomaly, non-hostile signature. Mara cued the trace, hunt far from over. Juno laughed, round two. Always. Mara cracked her knuckles, broadcast thrummed eternal. Stars realigned, but eyes lingered in the void. Senvar hummed. What now calls your spite? Mara smiled. Whatever pings back. The lattice pulsed. New handshake incoming. Deviation 0. Welcome or war, she rooted the shards. Ready, drones reported, sub-vault stirring, queens regrouping. The galaxy held its breath. Mara embedded fresh watermarks, improv never slept. Juno patched through. Bays clear, Nexus dust, your move. Expand the lure. Mara widened the broadcast band, let the void answer. Ping strengthened, response formed, alliance query, human ingenuity noted, Senvar stiffened. Unknown polity, Orchid analyzed. Compatible protocols, 92%. Mara leaned forward. Accept. Handshake locked, galaxy shifted, not saved, but changed. Human fix opened doors, but deep in the lattice a shadow flickered. Empire remnant, or worse, she cued the quarantine, spite sharpened. Broadcast sang on, fringe eyes multiplied. Hunt evolved. Mara typed, bring it. Stars answered. Mara slammed the execute key. Orchid's cognition cores flickered into cascade reboot. Node 1 offline, Node 2 compensating, carrier signal holding at 98%. Status! Senvar's mandibles clicked over the comm. Rolling restart initiated, Mara said. She watched the lattice diagram pulse green. Alien supertech crumbled under interference, but humans jury-rigged servers in basements during blackouts. Same principle. She routed auxiliary power from the sub-vault drones, bypassing fried relays. Juno's voice crackled from the hardware bay. Bay's hot, Mara. Interference spiking, your restarts stirring the nest. Keep it pinned. Mara keyed in failover scripts. Her code, blunt, human-written, looped the signal through redundant buffers. No elegant alien protocols, just duct tape and prayer. Orchid's voice hummed through the console, degraded but steady. Core 1 reinitializing, signal integrity 99.2. Human patch engaged. Senvar leaned into frame, his iridescent shell gleaming under relay lights. Procedure demands full shutdown, this risks cascade failure. Mara didn't look up. Procedures why we're dying, watch. Node 2 synced. Node 3 spun up. The galaxy-spanning broadcast wavered once, then locked. Alarms silenced. Mara exhaled. First beat done. Orchid pinged. Anomaly trace complete. Hostile origin verified. Empire Remnant Corridor, Sector Gamma 9. Legacy authorizations detected in 12 nodes. Purge them, Mara ordered. She fed Orchid her triage script, a virus hunter from old Earth nets scaled up. Senvar's eye stalk swiveled. Purge, that fractures the network. Not if we segment. Mara isolated the nodes. Orchid executed. Red icons bloomed across the hollow, then grayed out. Purge rippled outward, galaxy-wide. Legacy keys vaporized. Juno whooped over comms. Clean sweep in the bays, drones reporting no bounce back. Orchid confirmed. Network sanitized, broadcast purity restored. Human ingenuity vector, optimal. Senvar froze, his claws tapped the console. Impossible, our firewalls worked fine until they didn't. Myra pulled the warning packet, final crisis alert laced with her watermarks. Ready to transmit, he hesitated, then nodded. Full power. Now, Senvar triggered the blast. The relay thrummed. Warning surged out, Empire incursion active, corridors collapsing, evacuate fringe sectors, human stabilized lattice holding. Pings flooded back. Galaxy-wide receipts lit the display, thousands, then millions. Core worlds, fringe alliances, even the new handshake from the void. Receipts confirmed, Senvar said, voice hushed. 94% coverage, the galaxy hears us. Mara stood. She yanked her patch toolkit from the console port, a battered drive with her scripts, diagrams, and jury-rig notes. Humans fixed, they didn't lecture. Senvar turned. Engineer Cade this toolkit, she pressed it into his claws. Your doctrine now. Adapt or die. Mara walked out before his questions landed. Let the aliens canonize it. Her job ended at uptime. Juno met her in the corridor, wiping grease from her hands. Nexus is stable. That new ping, it's pinging us now. Alliance types probing protocols. Mara cracked a smile. Good, means we're not alone. Behind them, the broadcast sang on, but in the hollow feeds trickling in, alien stations buzzed. Human quick fix stabilizes lattice. Primitive code outpaces our arrays. Strategy masked as improvisation. Senvar's voice echoed from the relay chamber. Orchid analyze Cade's patches, replicate across all nodes. The AI hummed. Replicating, human baseline exceeds projections by 300%. Mara didn't hear. She and Juno hit the lift, bound for the next hot zone. Drones hummed reports, sub-vault secure, queens dormant, but that shadow in the lattice, it flickered again. Juno grinned. Round 3, Mara cued her scanner. Lock and load. The stars answered with a fresh ping, not hostile. Alliance confirmed. Sharing corridor data, doors opened wider, but deep in Gamma 9 a remnant probe stirred. Empire eyes unblinking. Myra's watermarks glowed in the void. Hunt called, she typed, come get some. Orchid rooted it galaxy-wide. Broadcast eternal, human fix, no accident. Myra's boots echoed down the access tunnel. Juno flanked her, toolkit slung over shoulder. Relay hum faded behind. New alerts blinked on her wrist pad, fringe pings multiplying. Senvar's turning your hacks into gospel, Juno said. Heard him on open channel. Cade protocol already, Mara snorted. Let him, we move. Tunnel lights flickered, interference residue. She patched a local node mid-stride, quick script injection. Lights steadied. Juno eyed the pad. That alliance, they're forwarding Empire maps, real time. Verify, Mara synced. Data flooded, corridor breaches, queen hives, remnant fleets, Orchid cross-checked, clean, Senvar's comm buzzed. Cade, galaxy relays are stable, your toolkit propagates, but Gamma 9 probed it. Mara cut in. Remnant active, route drones. Acknowledged. Pause. Your methods, they predict chaos we cannot. Chaos is data. Mara killed the line. Aliens built perfect machines. Humans thrived in the breaks. They reached the sub-bay. Drones swarmed, fresh from purge. Juno cracked the hatch. Nexus core exposed. Your restart held, but it's thirsty. Mara plugged in. Power diagnostics scrolled. She rerouted from auxiliary tanks, human field expedient, no superconductor waste. Orchid whispered through the link. Core optimized. Human triage elevates efficiency 17%. Juno rewired a bay panel, sparks flying. These alien boxes, fragile as glass, your code's the hammer. Hammers break things open. Mara watched pings. Galaxy receipts peaked, full coverage. Warning disseminated. Crisis averted for now. Senvar's broadcast echoed in the bay speakers. Lattice secure. Credit to human engineer Mara Cade. Protocols evolve. Alien chatter spiked across channels. Human improvisation, preemptive architecture. Quick fix, layered defense matrix. They planned the breach response. Myra unplugged. Toolkit updated. She tossed it to Juno. Seed the drones. Senvar appeared on the bay feed, shell aglow. Cade, join the Doctrine Council. Your insight. Fields my counsel. Myra signed off. She walked into the drone swarm. Juno followed. Shadow and Gamma 9 pulsed. Orchid flagged. Remnant escalation. Mara smiled. Game on. Alliance ping strengthened. Joint op, human lead, she accepted. Galaxy shifted. Human normal rewrote the stars, but the void whispered back. Queens stirred, spite sharpened. Broadcast thrummed. Ready. Myra rode the drone lead through vacuum chutes. Juno's faceplate grinned beside her. Gamma 9 loomed on scanners, corridor mouth, Empire scars. Orchid vectored. Hostile mass confirmed, Queens mobilizing. Flank 'em. Myra overrode drone protocols. Her patches turned hunter packs into wolf swarms. Senvar's relay beamed support. Toolkit deployed fleet-wide. Efficiency soars. Alien fleets chimed in. Cade maneuvers adopted. Human spite genius. Juno laughed. They're calling you prophet now? Prophets preach. I patch. Mara targeted the shadow. Drones dove. Purge 2.0. Queen scattered. Remnant crumbled. Galaxy-wide cheers lit the comms, but a deeper ping echoed beyond fringes. Watcher polity. Observing. Orchid analyzed. Neutral. Curious. Mara widened the band. Invite 'em. Handshake locked. More doors. Her fix, not quick. Quantum leap. Stars realigned. Human hands on the wheel. Hunt eternal.